Photography festival in France at the minute. And I'm still very much an amateur photographer myself, and I guess I've probably reached what you would class as the peak of amateurism. Still work full-time as an accountant, and have done throughout my photographic journey. So to be asked to be the president of the festival is a huge, huge honour, and to be able to impart some of my experience and some of the journey that I've taken over the years is going to be great to give back a little bit to some people just starting out maybe. And
is it something new for you?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I've been asked to do anything like this at all. It's the first time I've been asked to head up the competition as well.
How did you start to photograph homeless people?
I think it's a long story. I mean, it was 15 years ago, but I think everybody's heard the story of when I was in London to run the marathon 10, 15 years ago. And I thought I'd try my hand the day before the race at street photography. So I did. I got my amateur camera at the time and a big long lens, and I went out onto the streets of London and I tried to do street photography. I noticed that a young homeless girl huddled in a doorway in a sleeping bag, and thought it would be a good idea to take some shots from across the street. So I started to shoot away. She noticed me. She did not like at all what I was doing. Kicked off big time, shouting, and all the passers-by were looking at me, and all I wanted to do was just get out of there, just get out of the situation. I didn't. I stopped and I walked over to her and had a conversation. And I think that conversation, hearing somebody else's story, listening to their hardships, suddenly it wasn't about me anymore. Suddenly, you know, for 30 years of my life, it had always been about me and what I wanted to do. But hearing her story kind of ignited a certain empathy. I think that was the beginning of what you see now.
Made them the focus of his work. The 40-year-old, who's an accountant by day, has produced a haunting set of black and white portraits of people living on the streets of Europe and the US. He's currently exhibiting the images at the Yellow Corner Gallery here in Paris and auctioned off 8 of the photographs. All of the money raised, more than 20,000 euros, goes to a French homeless association. Now, France 24's Leila Amar went along and asked the photographer how else people can help those who are often forgotten and ignored.
Homelessness affords a freedom that you and I don't have. But that doesn't mean we as society, because they've made a choice to be homeless, or they may have not made that choice to be homeless, doesn't mean you and I and society forget them. We still have a duty to love them. And if that's all we can do for them, love them, then we're doing something.
Lee Jeffries is a portrait photographer from England. He uses an old Canon 5D Mark I and a 24mm f1.4 lens, and a small handheld reflector. With these, he's able to capture these beautiful images of the homeless population in England and in the United States. An accountant by day, he picked this up as just a hobby, and now it has become a passion for Lee Jeffries. He uses his love of humanity and of inspire his artwork. His artwork being these portraits mostly in black and white and some in color. He uses CS4 and Lightroom to do any post-processing of these photos. He's a huge inspiration for me, myself, and not to think that I have to go above other artists. I can be myself and still be a dad during the day and I'll do my regular artwork and still follow my passion for photography as well. His website, leejeffries.uk, is a great source for some of his portraits and albums, and you can see some of his bibliography on there, and also some of his books. He is known right now for his portraits book and also the 72 days of the Metallica concert.